Good morning, friends. Welcome to Monday Morning Quiz Edition 23, dated the 18th April 2022. This episode of MMQ, the quiz questions will be on the tool scatterplot and regression. Okay, so let's move on to share with you the questions, the three questions of MMQ-23. Here we go. Here's the first question. Identify the simple linear regression equation from the below list pertaining to scatterplot B. Okay, so let me explain to you this question. So there are two scatter plots that I have showed in this slide. This is scatterplot A and this is scatterplot B. And I've also indicated two separate regression equations. There's one highlighted in red and there's one highlighted in green. Okay. Now the question is that, in your opinion, looking at these two scatter plot, which equation pertains to scatterplot B is the question. Okay. So in the Google form, you just have to mention, is it the red colored equation or the green colored equation? Okay, so that's the question. It's pretty straightforward. For those who are familiar with scatter plot and the regression equation, I think you should be able to get that straight away. So look at the scatter plot A and scatter plot B, and then tell us, out of these two equations that are displayed in red and green color, which equation, in your opinion, pertains to scatter plot B? That's the question, right? So that's question number one. Question number two. Same scatter plot example, scatter plot A and scatter plot B. Which scatter plot will have a higher coefficient of determination, which is popularly called as the R-square value? So again, look at these two scatter plot and tell us, of these two, scatter plot A or scatter plot B, which one will have a higher R-square value, right? I mean, as we all know, MMQ is all about making sure that you're able to interpret the tools, the graphs properly. Well, that's the whole purpose. What we have seen is, while we are able to easily plot a scatter plot, easily get all those equations, but the most important area where we need to focus more is on our capability to interpret the results, right? So this is in line with, this question is in line with those stuff. So which scatter plot will have a higher R-square value is the question. Pretty straightforward again. So it will help you to understand what does R-square really mean. And then once you are able to get that definition, probably look at the notes that you probably had when you attended this training program, and I'm sure you'll be able to crack this question. So moving on to question number 3. Okay, same scenario, scatter plot A and scatter plot B. Of course, for those who are familiar with regression, you'll also understand that the residuals will actually, we need to check whether the residuals follow normal distribution, right? That's one of the underlying assumptions whenever we look at linear regressions. So whether the residuals follow a normal probability plot. Now, here what again we have done is we're showing you the normal probability plots of these two scatter plots. Okay, so A and B. So two scatter plots and their respective normal probability plot. The output that we got from Minitab is available in the screen. So the question to you is, look at the scatter plot, look at the normal probability plot, and then answer this question. Identify the residual normality plot from the below list. Like, there are two normal probability plots given here, one highlighted with a red, another one highlighted with a green. And you have to identify, of these two, which one pertains to scatter plot A? That's the question, right? So all three questions, straightforward, hitting at the fundamentals, will definitely improve your understanding of scatter plot and regression. and which is very much, required whenever we use these tools. So that's what we have, we have given this as questions, straightforward questions. In fact, the questions are designed in such a manner that you look at the picture and you start answering. So you don't have to, use any sophisticated softwares or calculators and all that. Just visualize, look at the picture, understand, what is coefficient of determination, understand, what is, what is meant by this regression equation, what does a regression equation actually convey. So it's more about, back to basics, get on to the fundamentals of regression so that your interpretation about, whenever you use this tool as part of your Six Sigma project or a problem solving project, you are very clear and you don't stand puzzled when the judges ask you any questions related to the tool. So that's the whole idea of this quiz. So 3 questions. So the third question also in the Google form, you can mention it, either it is red or green, right? So that's how it is. So the Google form will have, a space where you can either mention it as red or green. So which normal probability plot pertains to the scatter plot A is the question, right? So, with that, let's move on to the next section of giving you the results of the previous quiz, MMQ-22, which was on box plot, right? I had very interesting responses this time for this quiz. I fully agree with you that, the whole idea was to, make you think, it's not just putting a box plot and then looking at it, but it is more towards, looking at how the business looks at it, what kind of, business insights that you can get when you draw box plots like this. That was the, that is the goal of any MMQ, and it was also the goal of MMQ-22 with respect to box plot. So the answers for the first question. So we had given you box plots of the daily sales of 6 different outlets of a restaurant in Chennai, right? And the question that we asked is relatively which outlet is the most difficult and most easy one for inventory management. So obviously, very simple, straightforward question is, looking at the max min, the range. Okay, so that's what is. The higher the range, it is most difficult. So F is obviously the most difficult outlet to actually manage in terms of inventory, and the outlet D is the most easy one to handle. So I'm happy to share that about 46% of the respondents got both the options correctly, F and D. There were many who got the first one right and then the second one wrong, but together F and D. So F is the most difficult outlet and D is the most easy one. The basic decision is based on the max minus min, the range. Okay, so how much is the deviation, the range, the dispersion. So correct response is 46%. So moving on to the next question. Well, as expected, this question was a very straightforward question, and I'm happy that all the respondents of this question got these answers correctly. So, which I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're able to get the insights what a box plot can give you. The question was sales in which outlet appears to be more normally distributed. So the answer was C, as you rightly. The median line, which is the middle line of a box plot, which is exactly, fairly in the center of the box. So which probably looks at, of all the 6 outlets, probably, restaurant C, the daily sales tend to follow. It's more normally distributed. So C was a correct response, and I was actually delighted that almost, the entire, all the respondents got this question correctly. Moving on to question number 3. If the monthly plan was based on median sale, which outlet would have the least business concern? Right. Well, I do understand that this is a tricky question, and I think the reason why probably again business concern looked very generic, but probably I felt so after giving this question. And so that's why the correct responses were only 36%. So the right answer is actually B. Why B is because, and that's where the median is very, very closer to the minimum. So the chances of stock outs and all that is, if you plan your inventory and all that at the medium level, you'll still, the chance of you running out of stock or running, not able to serve the customer whenever they want something is very minimal in outlet B. So that's the reason B is the right answer for this question. So as always, don't worry if you did not get this part of the business concern, the English word properly, but that's okay. So don't worry about it. So the whole idea is that, this way you get one more insight when you see a box plot. So in what all ways you can. So as always, whether it's a box plot or a scatter plot that I have shared with you today, they're all, good tools which will help the businessman to take the right decisions. So as the quality professional, good at tools, maybe your green belt or black belts, as you're, good at, quants and all that, your job is not just to show the chart or show the equation. Your job is also to give them the practical insights to the CEO or a BU head so that, they believe in that and then they take appropriate decisions, right? So that's the full purpose of MMQ. So unfortunately, this time there were no winners, for MMQ 22. So we had a few who got two questions correctly, either one and two, or two or three, or three and one. So those combinations were there, but not one could get all three correctly. But nevertheless, never mind. The whole purpose of MMQ is to actually, make it a forum for you to, sharpen your skills and then get more into the interpretation of these statistical and graphical tools. So that's the purpose of MMQ. And another, I did receive a couple of messages from a few winners about that they've not got the voucher yet. Okay, so after MMQ 10, so the last time we had a winners meet was after MMQ 10, which was an online meeting. And that is where we issued all the gift vouchers of Amazon or Pakistan. So from MMQ 11, we did not. Okay, so don't worry, they're all there. What good news I would like to share with you is that we are planning a physical in-person meeting of all the MMQ participants and winners. Okay, all MMQ participants. Let me put that as the broader circle. So whoever has responded to MMQs, they will be invited. We plan to have, fortunately, hopefully we are just keeping our fingers crossed that if things go well next 1 week or so, we would like to have an in-person meeting where, those who can probably, come for the function will get the vouchers and certificate in person also. So we thought we'll have, we'll celebrate that occasion. So we'll be inviting all the winners right from MMQ 1 to MMQ 25. So this will happen somewhere at the end of May, subject to, concerns with respect to, is it safe to do that and all that. So we're still, fairly sure, but we still want to go through it. We still get some, messages of, the number of cases increasing. Such concerns are still there, but I think we are very confident now. So we should be able to organize an in-person with, all the norms in place. We will probably have at an in-person meeting where all the participants of MMQ so far, all the 20, another 3 weeks, another 3 editions. We are now 23, another 2 more quizzes. So all winners and participants up to MMQ 25, we'll be inviting you. And that is where we were. And that is the reason we have not shared those vouchers with you. So with that note, looking forward to meeting you all in person. And for those who could not make it to the in-person meeting, which we are scheduling at the end of May, we will certainly send you the vouchers and you can also join online for that meet. Right. So with this, let me, wish you all the very best and, take care. Have a look at those 3 questions on scatter plot and regression and look forward to receiving your responses. Bye for now. This is Nanda signing off for the Monday morning quiz.